Good morning, students. Continuation of chapter 21, Commerce, page number 200. Now, today we'll see who is an unpaid seller. Okay. Now, I'll just give you an example. A purchases a car from B for rupees 3 lakhs. Okay. A is the buyer and B is the seller. In this case, if A refuses to pay the amount to B, then B is said to be as an unpaid seller. Or if A refuses to pay part of the amount, say for example he has paid 2,50,000, okay, 50,000, the remaining balance he refuses to pay to the seller B, then also B is said to be an unpaid seller. Okay. And suppose A has given a check for 3 lakhs to B. When B goes and deposit the deposit the check in his bank, okay, the bank dishonors the check, rejects the check as there is no sufficient amount in A's account. In that case also B is an unpaid seller. Okay. Now, the meaning of unpaid seller. A seller is deemed to be an unpaid seller when the whole of the price has not been paid, or a bill of exchange or a negotiable instrument. What is a bill of exchange? I told you any negotiable instrument means a check is also a negotiable instrument. A promissory note is a negotiable instrument, and a bill of exchange is also a negotiable instrument. Is given to him has been dishonored. Okay, so in this case also we call the seller as a unpaid seller. Thus, it would be obvious that a seller who has received only part of the price is also a unpaid seller. So, as I told you in the example, okay, if he has received only a part of the amount, then also he is called to as a unpaid seller. Seller includes not only the actual seller but also the agent of the seller or a consignee. Okay. Now, you cannot leave an unpaid seller just like that. Say for example, if you are selling a particular product to someone, okay, and if that buyer has not given you the amount, will you leave it as it is? No. You have some rights against your goods and you have some rights against the buyer. Okay. Now, we'll see what are the rights of an unpaid seller. The rights of an unpaid seller. There are two categories: rights against the goods and rights against the buyer. Now, what are the rights against the goods? Right of lien, right of stoppage in transit, and right of resale. Now, rights against the buyer, you can file a suit for the price of the goods. You can file a suit for damages for non-acceptance of the goods. You can file a suit for cancellation of contract before the due date. And you can also file for the interest. Now, we'll see this in detail. Okay. Rights of an unpaid seller. First one is the right of lien. Right of lien means the right to hold the goods with himself. The seller has a right to retain the goods with himself. That is known as right of lien. Okay. An unpaid seller has a right to retain the goods till he receives the price. Suppose you have made a sale of a car. A is making a sale of the car to B. Okay. He has sold the documents, everything he has sent to B. But the car is with him only. Okay. Now, in that case, if A becomes insolvent, if B becomes insolvent means what? He is unable to pay his own debt. Okay. And A comes to know of it. If the car is in the position of A, he can hold the car with himself. He need not transfer the car to B. Okay. Now we'll see the examples. But to exercise this lien, he must be in possession of the goods. That is, the seller should have the possession of the goods. Only then he can retain the goods with himself without giving it to the buyer. The goods must have been sold without any stipulation as to credit. Okay. Now say for example, A selling a car to B. The goods should not be sold on credit. Credit means what? After 1 month only, means after the credit period only you will receive the amount. Okay. So if suppose it is sold on credit, that credit period should have expired. Okay. Only then A can be called as an unpaid seller. Say for example, A gives some goods to B for 50,000 and B promises to pay this 50,000 after 1 month. Now within that 1 month you cannot call A as an unpaid seller. Only after this completion of 1 month, if B doesn't pay to A, only then A can be called as an unpaid seller. Okay. So that is what is given here. The goods must have been sold without any stipulation as to credit requirement. Stipulation means the requirement as to credit. Or where the goods have been sold on credit, the terms of credit must have expired. He can also exercise the right of lien when the seller becomes insolvent. Okay. Next, it must be remembered that the right of lien depends on actual possession. Thus, where the seller has transferred to the buyer the document of title to goods, his lien is not affected as long as he continues to be in possession of the goods. Okay, this point I will just explain with the example. A sold 10 TVs to B. A sold 10 TVs to B. And he transfers all the documents, all the papers to B through courier. Okay. All the documents has been transferred. That means what? B becomes the owner of the goods. Okay. But the goods are still with A. Only the documents he has sent to B, but the goods are still remaining with A's custody, and it is ready for dispatching for booking. It is ready for dispatch. Okay. Now, in the meantime, A comes to know that B is insolvent. In that case, A can retain the goods with himself because he is having the possession of the goods. Okay. Now read the statement here. It must be remembered that the right of lien, the right to retain the goods, depends on the actual possession. Thus, where the seller has transferred to the buyer the document of title to goods, document of title means the document of ownership, all the papers relating to the ownership of the goods. Okay. His lien is not affected as long as he continues to be in possession of the goods. Hope you have understood this point. First one, right of lien. Okay. Where an unpaid seller has made a part of delivery of the goods, he has a lien on the remaining part which he possesses, the seller possesses. If the delivery of a part is intended as the delivery of a whole, then the lien is lost. So suppose in the agreement itself they state that if a portion of the goods is sold, it is assumed to be as a good sold fully. Okay, in that case there is no lien. The seller cannot retain the goods. He has no lien. His lien is lost. Now, circumstances under which the lien is lost. When does the seller does not have the right to retain the goods? There are 3 situations given in your textbook. We'll see one by one. First one, when he delivers the goods to a carrier or other bailee for the purpose of transmission, the buyer, without reserving the right of disposal of the goods. Okay, I'll just explain this with an example. A is in Delhi. He sold his goods to Y, who is in Bombay. Okay, sorry, X. X selling the goods to Y. X is in Delhi and Y is in Bombay. Now X, he uh, delivers his goods through the railways, and he gets a railway receipt in the name of Y, not in his own name. He gets a railway receipt in the name of Y, and he sends that receipt to Y. So he is not involved in that uh, transaction at all. So he takes a receipt in the name of Y and he sends it to Y. Okay. So he has no right on the disposal of the goods. In that case, he has no right on the disposal of goods. He cannot retain the goods with himself. Now see here, when he delivers the goods to a carrier or other bailey for the purpose of transmission to buyer without reserving the right of disposal of goods. Okay. Example, X of Delhi sold some goods to Y of Bombay and took a railway receipt in the name of Y and sent the railway receipt to Y. In this case, X has not reserved the right of disposal of goods. He has no rights against the goods because he has taken the railway receipt in the name of Y and he has also sent the railway receipt to Y. Okay. So in that case, in case of any he comes to know that Y has become insolvent, he cannot retain the goods. Okay. Next, when the buyer or his agent lawfully obtains possession of the goods, the buyer gets the possession of the goods. When the ownership and say for example, X is selling some goods to Y. He also sends the goods to Y. Now Y is having the goods. The buyer is having the goods, or his agent is having the goods. In that case also the lien is lost. The seller cannot retain the goods. Okay. Next one, when the seller waives his right of lien. When the seller, he himself waives that by saying he has no right of lien over the goods. In that case also the lien is lost. Okay. Now, first what we saw, what is the meaning of unpaid seller, and then rights of an unpaid seller. Against this you have two categories, against the goods and against the buyer. Okay. Now against the goods, the first one is lien, right of lien, and what are the circumstances under which the right of lien is lost. That's all we saw till now. Next is the right of stoppage in transit. Now when the seller has delivered the goods to a carrier or other bailey for the purpose of transmission to the buyer, but the buyer has not acquired them, then the seller can stop the goods and regain the possession. In other words, goods must be neither with the seller nor with the buyer, but should be in the hands of the carrier. Further, the buyer must have become insolvent. Now this is very simple. Say for example, X is selling the goods to Y. Okay. Now X has dispatched the goods to any consignee like railways or any other modes of transport. Okay. Now in the meantime, now the goods is with the consignee. It is in the process of transmission to the buyer. Now in the meantime, if X comes to know that Y has become insolvent, in that case he can stop the transmission. He can stop the transmissions from the railways. Okay. He can hold the goods. He can take back the possession of the goods. Okay. Next, transmission of right is stopped. So when does the seller does not have the right to stop the goods in transit? Okay. When the goods are delivered to the buyer or his agent. When the goods have already been delivered to the buyer or his agent. When on the arrival of the goods at the appointed destination, the carrier communicates to the buyer or his agents that he is holding the goods on his behalf. Okay. That is, the railway authorities informs the buyer that they are holding the goods and it is ready for dispatch. In that case also, the seller has no right to stop the goods. Okay. Next is the right to resale. The seller has the right to resale the goods if the buyer has not paid the amount for the goods in the certain situations. Now we'll see what are the circumstances. Where the goods are of perishable nature. Okay. And after exercising his right of lien or stoppage in transit, even though he has given intimation to the buyer of his intention to resale, the buyer has not tendered the price within the reasonable time. Now the seller has given intimation. He has informed the buyer to repay the amount of the goods, but still the buyer has not paid within the reasonable time. In that, the seller can resell the goods. He has the right to retain the goods which is in possession, and he can also resell the goods. And if the goods are in transit, then he has every right to stop the goods being sent to the buyer, and he can take the possession back and sell the goods to another person. Okay. Next one, where the seller has expressly reserved the right of resale in the contract itself. So at the time of entering into the contract itself, the seller would have expressed that in case if the buyer does not repay the amount for the goods, the seller has every right to resell the goods. Okay. Now, I told you the rights of the unpaid seller are categorized into two. First one is against the goods, and the next one is against the buyer. Now till now we saw against the goods, right of lien, right of stoppage of goods at the time of transit, and right of resale. Now next we'll see the rights against the buyer. Okay. Now rights of an unpaid seller against the buyer personally. First one is suit for price. When the ownership in the goods has passed to the buyer and the buyer refuses to pay for the goods, the seller can file a case against the buyer for the price. Okay. Now suppose X sells some goods to Y. Okay. The ownership is transferred and the goods are also, possession is also transferred to Y. In that case, if Y refuses to make the payment to the seller, X has every right to file a case against Y for not making the payment of goods. Okay, that is suit for price. Suit means filing a case, okay, in the court. Next one is suit for damage for non-acceptance. Suppose X is selling the goods to Y, okay, but Y refuses to accept the goods because of some reason, okay. In that case, X has every right to claim the damages. Okay, he can file a suit in the court to claim the damages. Whatever loss he has incurred because of non-acceptance of goods by Y, the damages should be recovered from Y. For that, he can file a suit against Y. Next one is suit for cancellation of contract before the due date. Okay. Suppose X is selling a car to Y, okay, and he assures that the car will be delivered on 1st November. But on 15th October, if Y cancels the contract, Y tells that he don't want the car anymore. He wants to cancel the contract. In that case, X has every right to file a case against Y immediately or on 15th itself. On 15th, if he comes to know about that, he can file a case immediately, or he can wait till 1st November, okay, and see if there is any changes. Then he can file a case in the court against Y for acceptance or for cancellation of the contract before the due date. Next one is suit for interest. Now, where there is a specific agreement between the buyer and the seller regarding charging interest on the price, the seller can recover the interest from the buyer from the due date of the contract till the date of payment of purchase price. Okay, in case if the seller wants to get the interest on the price from the date of contract till the date of purchase price, he can get the interest from the buyer if it is agreed at the time of the contract itself. Okay, if there is no agreement, then the seller can charge interest from the day he may notify to the buyer, from the date which he intimates to the buyer. From that date onwards, he can charge the interest on the price of the product. Okay, now today we saw the meaning of unpaid seller and what are the rights of an unpaid seller, that is rights against the goods and rights against the buyer. Rights against the goods, first one is right of lien, right of stoppage in transit and right of resale. Rights against a buyer, suit for price, suit for damage, for non-acceptance, suit for cancellation of contract before due date and suit for interest. Okay.